Teachings of Lord Caitanya, the Golden Avatar, a treatise on factual spiritual life, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Appendixes. A note about this edition. And this edition, or this particular book, says current printing 2012. And the cover looks like this. So a note about this edition. Srila Prabhupada completed Teachings of Lord Caitanya in 1967, and his Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, then known as ISKCON Press, published it in 1968. In 1974, the BBT published an extensively revised edition with Sanskrit diacritical marks and selected verses from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the source book for Teachings of Lord Caitanya. For the present edition, the editors compared the two previous editions. The original manuscript is lost, and restored some of the flavor of the original. In addition, they found that, perhaps owing to Srila Prabhupada's heavily accented English, the uneven quality of his dictated tapes, or the difficult philosophical concepts in some passages of Teachings of Lord Caitanya, the original transcribers and editors had occasionally erred. These errors, constituting less than 3% of the total text, have now been corrected, so that an already perfect book has become even more perfect for its increased fidelity to Srila Prabhupada's original words and intended meaning. And the next appendix says the author. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, appeared in this world in 1896 in Calcutta, India. He first met his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami, in Calcutta in 1922. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, a prominent religious scholar and the founder of 64 Gaudiya Maths, Vedic institutes, liked this educated young man and convinced him to dedicate his life to teaching Vedic knowledge. Srila Prabhupada became his student, and in 1933, his formally initiated disciple. At their first meeting in 1922, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati requested Srila Prabhupada to broadcast Vedic knowledge in English. In the years that followed, Srila Prabhupada wrote a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, assisted the Gaudiya Math in its work, and in 1944 started Back to Godhead, an English fortnightly magazine. Single-handedly, Srila Prabhupada edited it, typed the manuscripts, checked the galley proofs, and even distributed the individual copies. The magazine is now being continued by his followers. In 1950, Srila Prabhupada retired from married life, adopting the Vanaprastha retired order to devote more time to his studies and writing. He traveled to the holy city of Vrindavan, where he lived in humble circumstances in the historic temple of Radha Damodar. There, he engaged for several years in deep study and writing. He accepted the renounced order of life, sannyas, in 1959. At Radha Damodar, Srila Prabhupada began work on his life's masterpiece, a multi-volume commentated translation of the 18,000-verse Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavat Purana. He also wrote Easy Journey to Other Planets. After publishing 3 volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada came to the United States in September 1965 to fulfill the mission of his spiritual master. Subsequently, His Divine Grace wrote more than 50 volumes of authoritative commentated translations and summary studies of the philosophical and religious classics of India. When he first arrived by freighter in New York City, Srila Prabhupada was practically penniless. Only after almost a year of great difficulty did he establish the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in July of 1966. Before he passed away on November 14, 1977, he had guided the society and seen it grow to a worldwide confederation of more than 100 ashrams, schools, temples, institutes, and farm communities. In 1972, His Divine Grace introduced the Vedic system of primary and secondary education in the West by founding the Gurukul School in Dallas, Texas. Since then, his disciples have established similar schools throughout the United States and the rest of the world. Srila Prabhupada also inspired the construction of several large international cultural centers in India. At Sridham Mayapur in West Bengal, devotees are building a spiritual city centered on a magnificent temple, an ambitious project for which construction will extend over many years to come. In Vrindavan are the Krishna Balaram Temple and International Guest House, Gurukul School, and Srila Prabhupada Memorial and Museum. There are also major temples and cultural centers in Mumbai, New Delhi, Ahmedabad, Siliguri, and Ujjain. Other centers are planned in many important locations on the Indian subcontinent. Srila Prabhupada's most significant contribution, however, is his books. Highly respected by scholars for their authority, depth, and clarity, they are used as textbooks in numerous college courses. His writings have been translated into over 50 languages. The Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, established in 1972 to publish the works of His Divine Grace, has thus become the world's largest publisher of books in the field of Indian religion and philosophy. In just 12 years, despite his advanced age, Srila Prabhupada circled the globe 14 times on lecture tours that took him to 6 continents. In spite of such a vigorous schedule, Srila Prabhupada continued to write prolifically. His writings constitute a veritable library of Vedic philosophy, religion, literature, and culture. The rest of the appendixes are a one-page list of references, and then a glossary, a Sanskrit pronunciation guide, an index, and then there's a listing of centers around the world. It says for a catalog from the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, call that number. And here's the end paper.